Now, that eyewitness said he saw a body. He didn't share any additional information. Now, it could have been the same. Earlier, we spoke to another student nearby who said he saw a body being taken out, potentially someone who was shot, who then left with a police escort. That could have been the same person. So I just want to reset again. We are talking about Ohio State University, a college that has 65,000 students in Columbus, Ohio. The OSU emergency management site put out an alert, a Buckeye alert, active shooter on campus. Run, hide, fight Watts Hall, which is located on 19th and College. That is a residence hall. We just heard from a local affiliate in Columbus moments ago. There may also be another location that's being surrounded by SWAT teams, a local parking garage that's located on Neal and Tuttle, which is a street very nearby Watts Hall. So the situation still seems to be active. I want to bring in my NBC colleague, Rahema Ellis. Rahema, I realize we have very limited information. This is all still unfolding. But from what we've seen so far, help us make sense of this.
It's very difficult. One of the things that they're doing on that campus right now is trying to make sense of it. And more than that, they're trying to bring it under control. As you've been reporting, the FBI, sheriff, and local police are on the scene. We've seen on the air there are officers in SWAT gear. You pointed out that this is a campus of 65,000 students. 45,000 of them are undergraduates, and the other 20,000 are graduate students. Coming back from the Thanksgiving holiday, everybody hunkered in and getting ready to go off to their classes this morning, and then they get this alert on their phones, as you pointed out, to stay in place, to shelter in place for the duration of this incident. That we understand that call came in at about 9:59 a.m. Eastern time, and it had to be pretty frightening to students, not knowing what is going on. They haven't had anything like this happen. Again, coming back from the holidays, and the Buckeyes just won their football game yesterday. These people are feeling pretty good on this campus and thinking, how could this possibly be something that's happening to them? This is what we often hear in times like this. How could it possibly happen here? That's what these authorities have got to try and sort through once they bring this situation under control.
Jim, again, I know we have very limited information. I'm joined again by Jim Kavanaugh. The fact that our local affiliate is saying a second location is being surrounded by SWAT teams, could this imply that maybe there are multiple shooters? Because as one eyewitness said, he has a girlfriend in the building who has barricaded herself in a bathroom and has heard shots. So if she has heard shots inside that building, we've seen people taken out of that building, yet now we're learning there's a second location being surrounded. What does that tell you?
Well, it could have been the gunman who fled back to a vehicle. It could be multiple shooters. There's always reports of multiple shooters in active shooting situations. Always reports, because witnesses see the shooter in multiple locations. Now, that's not to discount that there can be multiple shooters. There are situations with multiple shooters, and we could go over those chapter and verse. But yes, it can be, but usually there is reports of that because the shooter is seen in multiple locations as they're moving. And secondly, undercover police officers or plainclothes officers respond quickly. They make it out of their car with a gun. Somebody may see that and report that as well. Or in this case, Steph, as you point out with the parking garage, tactical officers may have moved because of a report of a man with a gun there, or maybe the shooter was seen fleeing to the parking garage. You remember in the Dallas police killings, the suspect fled toward the parking garage in the building, and he went through a parking garage before Dallas PD SWAT officers were able to eliminate his threat. So sometimes people are maybe going to try to escape. Not every shooter is suicidal. Many are, but many do try to escape and then are pursued by police and commit suicide even at another location or try to continue their rampage. So it's not out of the possibility that a shooter could be trying to flee, or it could be another shooter, or it could be just a report of a gunman in the parking garage. And SWAT has to deal with this stuff instantaneously. They're dealing with it just like you have to deal with it at the anchor desk. The information comes at you fast. It comes at you quick. You have to react. You have to send the forces there. You have to try to gather the information. You have to verify the information. The on-scene tactical commander has got his command post set up, probably not far from that Bearcat, maybe in the front room of that building, a big room. He's set up. He's got his tactical supervisor. He's got his chief negotiator. He's got his intelligence officer. They're there. His team's moving through. His assistant tactical leader taking the teams through. And they're coordinating with the other teams, like, maybe sheriff SWAT, city police SWAT, state police SWAT, et cetera.
All right, Jim. Rahima, I want to turn to you. Do we have an update now on the injured? Because these 2 eyewitnesses have said they have seen at least 1 person shot or taken away, but until now, NBC hasn't confirmed any of this.
What we have just gotten in, Stephanie, is information from the Columbus Fire Department, and it says, in fact, that 7 people were transported to hospitals. 2 were listed in stable condition at 1 hospital. Another 2 at Ohio State University, their conditions are unknown. And then 3 others, we're told, their condition is unknown as well, and the hospital location is still unclear. But again, 7 transported, conditions unknown on 5 of them, 2 listed in stable condition.
Jim, what does it tell you, anything, that these victims were taken to different hospitals? 7 doesn't seem like that large of a number, but does it imply that they had sustained a different type of injury because they went to different medical centers?
Well, it's possible, but it could be just a great trauma plan, where the ambulances are responding and just trying to get them quickly to different trauma surgeons. Multiple victims like that, it could be, it doesn't tell us much about a shooter. We've had campus shootings, unfortunately, where one shooter with 1 handgun is able to shoot 30 people. So it doesn't really tell us anything about the shooter, but maybe a good trauma plan.
All right, I want to take you back to our local affiliate, WCMH in Columbus, Ohio, that is outside Watts Hall, where the alert has been placed from OSU Emergency Management, alerting people that there is a live shooter situation and to avoid going near Watts Hall. Let's dip in.
After hearing shots fired. And she tells him the latest text was that she's safe and just waiting at this point. We also heard from the department chair, a man who said he was the department chair in that building, and he has heard that one of his colleagues inside the building was slashed in the leg with a machete. Now, we've also heard, and again, all of this is unconfirmed at this point. This is just from people who are hearing from others or hearing, from whatever source, but these are people who are close here and on the scene. We also heard that a number of people may have been hurt by a car that the gunman was in at one point, that the people fled the building, and that a car may have struck some pedestrians. Again, all of that unconfirmed. We're getting nothing really official at this point from the police, but this is still very much an active scene. We see a lot of police here with a lot of long guns in this area, and obviously this is still a very fluid situation.
And Ted, I wanted to ask you.
All right, Rahima, earlier I had made the false assumption that Watts Hall was a residence hall. That's not the case.
It seems not to be, Stephanie. We are seeing now information looking at Ohio State that Watts Hall is listed as an academic hall only, and it's not on the residence hall list. And also I want to share some information with you that we're getting about the open carry gun law. It does not exist here. According to information we're getting, Ohio State law prohibits the carrying of any kind of concealed weapon on premises of Ohio State in any public or private college, university, or other institution of higher education. So that would not be allowed. And so if someone saw a person walking around who was not a law enforcement or a school security person with some kind of a weapon, that would cause them alarm instantly.
Jim, and more than just a potential gun, as we heard from our local affiliate, and though we have not confirmed this, NBC hasn't, the department chair had said someone in the building had been slashed in the leg with a machete. A machete, what does that tell you?
Well, these shooters, if we look back at them and we see all these reports in history, they come, armed to the teeth, almost as if they have, crossed bandoleros on the front of their body. They have multiple magazines. Sometimes they have long rifles, military-style, rifles. They have handguns with large magazines. Sometimes they have big knives, bayonet-type knives that go on military rifles. Wouldn't be out of the realm that a guy like this come into a campus to do this kind of shooting would carry some kind of a machete. But it could also be someone who, grabbed something to fight. We don't really know the answer to that, but it's unusual, I think, that we're hearing 7 wounded from gunshots, and we're also hearing machetes. So there could be some mixture of stab and shooting wounds here.
All right, Jim, we're going to go back to campus again. One of our local affiliates is speaking to some OSU students just near Watts Hall.
You know, they're happy that the police are here. They feel a little bit safer knowing that there are all of these police vehicles, emergency vehicles, ambulances, all of that around. But definitely an unsettling and scary experience for those students. There are, again, several dozen students gathered here on this particular corner, just on the other side of this crime tape, as police and emergency vehicles filled this scene. Again, we just want to show you all of the medic vehicles that are here. There are now maybe about half a dozen of them. A few of them have left in the last little bit. There were a bunch of them out here from other departments other than the Columbus Fire Department. And as you mentioned, 7 students were transported, so there were a number of medic vehicles here as backup. At this point, some of those have cleared out. There are other vehicles, other crews coming in. There's now a mobile command post. If you take a look to our left, there's a large trailer that has now set up on this part of campus. Again, we are on Woodruff Avenue, and we are continuing to speak to some of the students out here, seeing if any of them saw anything. From the ones that we've talked to, it sounds like many of them showed up just after all of this happened and are standing here waiting to find out what's going on, just like the rest of us, Ellie.
And Olivia, I know.
All right, we of course are speaking about a situation unfolding just before our eyes. Ohio State University campus, a school of 65,000 students. This Big Ten school located in Columbus, Ohio, where what we know is limited, but there is an active shooter situation going on campus. We learned of this via an alert on the school's website as well as their social media account, where the school put out Buckeye, the school mascot, alert. Continue to shelter in place. Avoid area of college. More information to follow. The school had put out that there's an active shooter on campus, alerting students and members of the community to run, hide, and fight. Watts Hall, that is the academic hall located on 19th and College. And though we haven't confirmed, we have learned from eyewitnesses and our local affiliates that potentially another location, a garage just a few blocks away, has also been surrounded by a SWAT team. And we've learned that 7 people, we don't know if they're just students, they may also be employees or professors, have been transported to 3 area hospitals. We know 2 of those students are in stable condition. We are unclear. We don't know what the condition is of the other students. And in addition to the shooter, we had heard, though it hasn't been confirmed by NBC, the department chair had said someone in the building had been slashed in the leg by a machete. 2 other eyewitnesses had told us they had been texting with people inside of the building. One of them said he saw someone who had maybe been shot, been taken away. Someone else said his girlfriend was inside the building. She heard shots fired, and she herself was barricaded in a bathroom. And those are the directions we are hearing from the campus. Those who are nearby, if they can, they should run. They should avoid the area. If they are in that building, they should hide. They should barricade themselves. As Jim Kavanaugh just told us, they should close the door and not open it. And it doesn't matter who says they are on the other side, and the situation seems to be unfolding. We've learned limited information, though this is a college campus which is not an open carry location. It is prohibited to have any sort of gun on the campus of Ohio State University. So we're watching all of this to unfold. It is not just the local campus police. We are seeing the city of Columbus officials there. The FBI is on hand. This is an active shooter situation. As you can see these images right now, there are people in the building. Dozens of people have been taken out. Those who have been taken out that we've seen appear to be students. They have been patted down, which is standard protocol. It is unclear how many people could be armed as we are watching this situation unfold. Brahima, the fact that this continues to go on, we're seeing more students walk out of the building. What does that tell us?
Well, one thing it tells us is that those students, at least, are safe. And that's a good sign, I would think, for any person who can come out, use their cell phone, and call their loved ones. That's good news. How many more people are inside that building, we don't know. I just got some more information about Watts Hall itself in terms of details. I'm told that these are 3 classrooms inside of Watts Hall. They're listed as standard classrooms. 2 classrooms hold about 23 and 24 students, and 1 holds 57 students. And again, at this early hour, we don't know if all of those classrooms were filled to capacity with those number of students, but you can be sure that they're trying to take into account right now of the students who are listed for courses in those buildings and in those classrooms to figure out where those students are.
This is a very big campus, 65,000 students. Most Ohio natives. We actually just got word from Sean Spicer from the transition team that the president-elect Donald Trump and VP-elect Mike Pence have put out no statement, but they're receiving any relevant information as it comes, and it's happening live, real time. Jim Kavanaugh, I want to turn back to you.